Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the So Brothers channel, and this is the Adidas BYW 2.0. So this is the Pharrell Williams colorway, and it's going for 180 bucks, which is really expensive. I believe I saw these on like Finish Line or East Bay for 160 bucks. So it might be 180 bucks because of the Pharrell Williams colorway. And this is the only colorway available right now on adidas.com. So if you guys do want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box. But let's get it started off with the traction. So they're using a full-on translucent outsole. I wouldn't say it's as translucent as, you know, this crazy explosive. I believe this was the 2017. I don't even remember, 2016 or something. So it's not as translucent as this, but I would say it's around what, like 70% opacity. So you can still see through it, but it's not a solid rubber outsole. It does worry me though, because you know it might pick up dust, but we'll have to see. On my wood floors, it seems to be biting very hard. The rubber itself is also very hard, and the grooves are thick and deep, so outdoor use actually seems like it's okay. And then here in the midfoot, and I guess half of the heel is like this weird brain pattern. I like to call it a brain pattern for some reason. So full on herringbone, can't really go wrong with that. But we'll have to see on the rubber compound and how good it is on dust. And then here in the forefoot, there are two slits, which is kind of weird. I don't know why they did that, but you can see the actual plastic midfoot shank. And it's the stable frame that they've been using for a long time. Like if you see on the bottom of the Crazy Explosive, this is the stable frame that they use, and it also acts as a midfoot shank as well, so you have torsional support. So same thing with the BYW 2.0. It's a lot more robust though. The plastic seems a little bit thicker, but it's basically this H shape that goes into the forefoot and into the heel. And it also extends here into the lateral side. On top of this foam, you can see this blue plastic, which is basically the extension of the stable frame, and that helps to cage the cushion as well. And another cool little detail, if you look in the heel, you can see the BYW kind of like logo. Now moving on to the cushion, they're using a full-length boost midsole, and it looks pretty thin and pretty low to the ground, but it's heavily caged, especially on the lateral side. I don't know what it is. I guess Adidas isn't hyped about boost anymore, but they're just covering it up like crazy. And I guess this midsole is slightly decoupled. It's more of the outsole actually. You can still see the boost here underneath, or I guess on top of the stable frame. And if you look on the medial side, you can actually see the boost. It's kind of cool how they continued this line though. I guess they wanted to keep this design, and they extended this line into the boost. And the boost is actually pretty nice. So it feels pretty similar to the WOW 8 and Ushuaï 13 Premium. So you can't really feel any type of compression from the actual midsole because it's so heavily caged. But Adidas actually did a good thing. So if you look underneath the insole, it looks like a very traditional strobo board, right? But then if you feel it, you can feel the compression of the boost. Like usually in like the Crazy Explosives, if you try to feel the boost underneath the insole, it's a really stiff strobo board. But here in the BYW 2.0, I don't know what they did, but you can actually feel the compression of the boost right underneath the foot. It feels very plush, and it improves the stepping comfort a lot. It feels slightly bouncy, but I would say it's more on the soft / mushy side. But the boost is actually very thin, and obviously it's caged a lot, so I don't think there's going to be any issues with it feeling too soft or mushy. And I would say it feels very similar to the Harden Volume 3. You know, the Harden Volume 3 was a very low to the ground cushion setup with very thin boost. The strobo board was very soft in that shoe as well, so you can feel the boost underneath your foot, but it definitely wasn't as caged as the BYW. So in the Harden Volume 3, you can feel the compression of the actual midsole a little bit more than the BYW 2.0, but this is still pretty damn nice. And I'm glad Adidas kind of changed it up with the strobo board. As far as the heel to toe transition goes, it feels pretty smooth. I mean, you have a nice curved shape here in the heel. The forefoot is very flat though. Look at this. Like that's very flat. It only goes up this much. The original BYW goes up a lot more if you look at it. And same with the Crazy Explosives. Like look at that. Look at that compared to this. So you don't feel like more on your toes, it feels more flat, but it's a lot better than I guess the Dawn issue number 1, which was just completely flat in the forefoot. But you know, the forefoot is actually very flexible, so it's not a huge deal. Like if this part was very stiff, for example like in the LeBron 10, like this is also very flat, and you can't flex the forefoot at all. So this feels very stiff as far as the heel to toe transition goes and feels very boot-like. But since there is a nice flex here in the forefoot, it actually mitigates that problem and makes it feel a lot smoother than I thought it would. And moving on to the materials, throughout the entire upper, they're using this textile mesh. And then in the toe area, you have this stitching pattern, as well as this really crappy and really cheap feeling felt material that acts as a mud guard or a toe guard. So you have extra added durability if you do toe drags. So that's good, but this felt material that's around here in the toe area as well as around this plastic part and in the tongue is just super duper cheap. It's not a huge deal because it's a performance basketball shoe, but I mean, it's 180 bucks. So I would have liked them to use better quality materials, but you know, whatever. And then here on the lateral and medial side, you have a lateral counter. It's basically just plastic and it kind of looks like the 3 stripes logo, but then there's like 5 stripes. And then 4 stripes on the medial side, which is kind of weird. And I don't know why you would do this on the medial side because you don't need lateral support and lateral containment on the medial side. You're never going like this. You're always just going like this. So that's probably a waste of material and it adds a little bit of weight and I guess a little bit of bulk, but they probably did it for design purposes, which is okay. And as far as the tongue goes, I really like this tongue. So first of all, it's this very stretchy neoprene material and it's actually connected to this heel part and underneath this textile mesh material. So this stretchy neoprene like material stretches over your foot and gives you a better one-to-one fit. And this connection actually allows the tongue to not move around too much while you're playing. Because in old school shoes, for example, in the LeBron 10, the tongue is independent, so it's not connecting to any type of material underneath this upper. So like when you play in it, it moves around and you always constantly have to fix it and like straighten it up. But you won't have that problem because of this inner booty. I believe Adidas calls it their Tech Fit booty, and I really like that. There's actually like no padding on the tongue, but I don't really mind it too much. And then here in the ankle area, there's a little bit of padding, nothing crazy, but I feel like it's just the right amount of padding for me. And then there's these like imprints for Achilles pillows, but then there's actually no foam, like it doesn't even protrude out. So I don't really know why they did that, but they did. And the materials feel pretty nice. Like this textile mesh feels very thin and minimal, but it also feels very supportive and comfortable on foot. So I'm actually not mad at it. I just don't really like the quality of materials, especially since this is a $180 shoe. Moving on to the fit, I went true to my Adidas size and it fits me very well. I was actually surprised at how snug the fit is. So like my toe is literally right at the edge. And as far as the toe space goes, there's like not a lot of toe space. It fits very snug for me. And width-wise, I would say it's around normal width. If you have a wide foot or if you don't like to have a snug fit at all, I would suggest going up half a size. As far as support and lockdown goes, obviously I haven't played in them yet, so I don't know, but I don't think I'm gonna have any issues with them. Just by looking at it, you guys already know for lateral containment, like here in the forefoot, the outsole comes up, this sprint frame comes up, and this foam comes up. It's probably just EVA or something. So it cages you here in the forefoot, the midfoot, and also in the heel. There is an internal TPU heel counter, and in the midfoot you have this plastic piece. So lateral containment, I don't think there's going to be any issues. And also this shoe is freaking hella wide, so it feels laterally stable as well. Alright, moving on to the weight. It doesn't feel that heavy. Like the material overall seems very light, but the outsole and midsole seems like it's going to add a little bit of weight. So I'm guessing around 13 ounces. Let's see. 12.5 ounces, so that's actually average weight, and on foot it actually doesn't feel too heavy, but it feels a little bulky and a little chunky here on the side and also on the bottom of your foot. And I wish Adidas would stop doing this. Like they just bubble everything up, you know, and they just make the shoe feel a little bit bulkier than it should, in my opinion. I just like to have a really minimal and light feeling shoe, and that's just what I prefer. Alright, moving on to the aesthetics. It's a very interesting looking shoe. I don't really know how I feel about it yet. It looks a little bit better on foot as well, in my opinion. And I really like this colorway. You know, they're using very light pastel colors. And on this textile mesh, you can see like a kind of like a tie-dye pattern of colors throughout the entire upper, which I also really like. Tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So my first impressions of the shoe, I'm liking it so far. It's pretty damn comfortable. And comparing it to the first BYW, I feel like it's a little bit of an improvement. I really didn't like this like sleeve thing on the ankle, and it made it really annoying to put the shoe on. And also I didn't really like decoupling as much here in the original BYW. The 2.0, it still has decoupling, but it's not as dramatic and drastic as this. And also the cushion feels a little bit better because of that softer swivel board. The 1.0 didn't really have it as soft. So yeah, the BYW 2.0 is looking pretty damn good. Of course, performance review will be coming a little bit later, because of what's happening right now. But I'm very excited to play in it. Again, if you guys want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.